Hey, what's up, everyone? It's about 10 till 10 Sunday night. I'm just on my way to drop off our car here to get it serviced. So I didn't get a chance to record any podcasts or anything like that, but schedule's been a little hectic. Haven't been able to put out a NFL preview. I'm still working on that. I've got all the records prior to today's games, so I'm not changing anything. I had those, set in stone before the season even kicked off. So, unfortunately, I just didn't get a chance to do anything with it. It's been a pretty, I haven't even had a chance to really even talk about college football in the 2 weeks that have been. It's been pretty crazy. The first week of college football saw a couple really, really good games. We saw, obviously, Alabama knock off Florida State. Sadly, you have, injuries, to kick off the year. For Florida State, unfortunately, quarterback goes down. That's obviously, that's a shame that something like that happens in the very first game. Then you have, Michigan, Florida was a fantastic game. Michigan pretty much dominating Florida, in all facets of that game, I felt. So, you had a great weekend of college football to kick everything off. USC struggling at home against Western Michigan. You saw Liberty knock off Baylor. Different things like that were pretty interesting. Oklahoma State getting off to a flying start. Same with Oklahoma, knocking off UTEP by hanging over 50 on them. You had Ohio State struggle against Indiana, a team that that Indiana gives Ohio State fits every single year, it seems like. And that was again the case this year to start off the season. Then you had this last week. Or this yesterday and Friday before that, you had Oklahoma State who, they go on the road to South Alabama, and I thought, they, played a great game. Obviously, Mason Rudolph continues to show why he is one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He continues just to fling that ball around, and he looks really good doing it. So, Coach Mike Gundy, he's got to be happy with what he's been seeing so far out of his offense. They look solid against Tulsa, and then come back and knocking off South Alabama as well. Then it goes, to Saturday. You saw Cincinnati go on the road up to the Big House and give the Michigan Wolverines some serious fits. It was a good game for Cincinnati. Like I said, they gave Michigan a lot of fits there. Michigan struggled offensively until late in the game, but then you saw Alabama took care of business. You saw Penn State obviously take care of business against Pitt. Penn State continues to show why they're one of the top teams in the country and will continue to be a serious player. Right when it comes down to the end in the playoff time. Oklahoma, obviously, probably the biggest game of the weekend. Oklahoma going up to the shoe and knocking off Ohio State, and really in a convincing fashion. Ohio State, struggles this year. Offensively, it's been tough for them. So they just, like I said, have not looked really strong, even in the Indiana game. And then obviously with Baker Mayfield, who was one of the top players in the country. He was listed on one of my Heisman lists, coming up here that I did. And again, he looked superb. They did a great job of getting the ball out of his hands quick to keep the Ohio State defense off balance. They just could not get into rhythm. And then you keep them on the field for as long as they did. They did a great job of really controlling the tempo and everything like that. So props on Oklahoma for controlling Ohio State like they did. Overall, it's been a really solid 2 weeks of college football. Obviously, USC coming back and knocking off Stanford. They rebounded nicely from their tough victory over Western Michigan in week 1. They come back and knock off Stanford in a nice rivalry game. Statement game. Sam Darnold again shows why he's one of the top quarterbacks in the country as well. Clay Helton is he's got to be feeling pretty good about his team, especially in the Pac-12 South. They looked pretty solid in handling their business against Stanford. So, can they continue to move on and see what they've got, coming up here in the next couple weeks? So, it's gonna be interesting to see what we have coming out of Los Angeles with the USC Trojans. Moving on to the NFL. This is the toughest part here for us. Wow, it was a bad game if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I was down there, and it was one of those, what the hell are you watching type things. And what we were watching was not pretty, I can tell you that. We knew, in my NFL preview, I believe I have the Bengals 9-7, I think is what I had them listed as. And they just continued to struggle, and they couldn't get anything really going, consistently. So it was a struggle for them, and we knew that was going to be the case. They couldn't get anything going. Cedric Ogbuehi got absolutely abused by Terrell Suggs all game long, and it caused nightmares for Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals all game. And Dalton was not good. I'm not going to, make any excuses for Dalton. He wasn't good. But a lot of it, I think, the offensive line really, caused a lot of problems for Dalton. He was just not able to really get, anything going. And then even when he did have time, he wasn't making good throws. So I think, situations like that, when it arises, that you have a quarterback play that struggles anyway, and then knowing that your offensive line is pretty tough, it can make for a long season. And now I'm curious to see what's going to go on. In 4 days, Bengals have a chance to rebound against the Houston Texans, a team that has had their number last couple primetime games, and it hasn't been pretty. And you've got, you're facing a team that's got, obviously J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Whitney Merciless. You got three pass rushers like that who are going to wreak havoc on this Bengals offensive line, and Andy Dalton is going to be in for it on Thursday night. So it just things just did not seem to get going really consistently for the Bengals today, and it cost them. You could definitely tell it was not a pretty game from that standpoint. So it's tough to be happy and even have any positive thoughts from coming out of this game, just because it was so bad. And they've really got to figure something out. You got, like I said, Ogbuehi looked awful, and unfortunately, like I said, you lose Andrew Whitworth in the offseason, and you lose Zeitler. It's two big pieces, two of the top performing offensive linemen that we had from the 2016 season, and they're gone. And Whitworth was, the veteran leadership that he provided was great. Unfortunately, Whit was not going to, he wasn't going to get paid that money here in Cincinnati. And good on him for going to get that final big contract. And apparently he had a really good game for the Rams today. So, big props to Big Whit on a great game for him with his new team. So it's back to square one for the Bengals, unfortunately, because it's, again, it was a tough game today. So we'll see exactly how they rebound. Again, it's 4 days from now. They've got to take on the Houston Texans, who did not look very good today by getting beat by Jacksonville. Both teams coming off of division losses. Again, that's not how you want to start. So, go Eagles. You know what? Carson Wentz, man, that guy, absolute stud. Nelson Aguilar, good for him. I'm a big USC guy as well, so I gotta give Nelson Aguilar some props. But Philadelphia, you guys are going to make some serious noise in the NFC East, and so good on you guys. Back to Cincinnati here. It's again, it's tough, and I heard a lot of people booing Andy Dalton. Again, people calling for A.J. McCarron. I don't think that's going to really change anything. the things that we just don't have a good setup right now for this offensive line. That is, we have the weapons, we have all the weapons in the world. In fact, I think we have probably some of the most. I think we have the most skilled. I'm going to put myself out here on the line and say that the Bengals have the most amount of skilled players, like the weapons that they have offensively, than anyone in the league, team-wise. I'm not saying we have the best, but we have a solid collection of, I think the amount is probably what I'm trying to get at. I think we have the most when it comes to amount. And unfortunately, we couldn't get anyone the ball today. Like I said, it was a gong show right from the opening snap. I mean, we get the ball, and then first play is a false start. So you kind of knew that it was quickly going downhill, and sure enough, it went to hell in the handbasket pretty quick. And it's just that vibe that, out of all the years, that I can remember, this is the one year that I think is one of the toughest years to predict as a Bengals fan, just because, they could go 4-12 or they could go 12-4. That's how the range, there's that just disparity that they have and what you're seeing. And it's a tough situation here in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, they could be better and should be better. We've got the weapons to do it. The offensive line just has to step up and take care of business. You can definitely tell defensively they struggled a little bit. Not having Vontaze Burfict out there, you can definitely tell it makes a difference. We got him. He's going to be gone for the next 2 games as well. It's going to be tough, but it's part of that next man up mentality. You gotta, it's why you're an NFL team. You've got players that should be able to step up and make plays just like your starters do. Unfortunately, you got some guys who aren't going to be as good as your starters. That's just that's the reason why they're starters. So next man up is that mentality. So the Bengals defense, it doesn't matter who's out there, you just got to get it done. So with that being the case, unfortunately, you can definitely tell that there is just that intensity that Vontaze Burfict brings to a team is definitely noticeable. And it just, again, they just couldn't get anything going, and then not having Adam Jones back there was pretty tough. I thought a couple plays could have been made here and there to really change things. Again, they just could not get things done. It was just a bad vibe all around. Is kind of how it felt. Really from that, like I said, that opening snap when you had the false start penalty, it was kind of one of those things like here we go again type thing. So again, it was tough all around today. Again, Bengals have a really good chance to get it going again in 4 days. So here's their chance to really get it back, get it rolling, and rebound from a tough day. And unfortunately, that's how it is. But that's the beauty of sports, is the fact that you can come back and prove yourself again, and that's what they've got a chance to do, and they have to do that. Otherwise, this season could get out of hand pretty quick, and that's what's they're really in danger of experiencing right now, is a season that could really slip away fast. Unfortunately, it is. You've got the Texans, and then you have to go on the road to Green Bay, who took care of business today against Seattle. So that's what you're faced with here in the next couple weeks. So you got to get it done. So it's tough. So we shall see what's going to go on. Again, I haven't been able to get much content out there on the website. I'm still working on my NFL preview. I've just got to finish up a couple division outlooks. I will be posting that on the website. Look for Bengals Week 2 preview coming up here this week, along with the weekend preview for college football as well. As always, check out the website, feeltheimpactsports.com. If you have any interest in writing, I would urge you to let me know. Hit me up, direct message or shoot me a tweet. Let me know you're interested, and I would love to have you guys. Any content would be great. So if you have any interest in writing, helping out, I would truly appreciate that. As always, follow me on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock. You can follow my blog page, Chris Asbrock Blogger, on Facebook as well. So again, thank you guys so much for dealing with my rant here today, again, it was pretty tough. I haven't had a chance to really get much content out again. Schedule's been pretty crazy, but I will be looking to get more. It's just it's tough, but it kind of worked out today, especially with the Bengals and them looking like a dumpster fire. That it kind of helped out that I was able to get something out there. So thank you guys as always for your support. I truly enjoy this. It's great. I like being able to to kind of get this kind of content out there. I would love to interact with you guys more. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me some tweets or some questions on here next time I hop on. So I would appreciate that. And you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your Sunday night. And as always, stay safe and have a good weekend.